So, today I'm going to be getting into the most controversial thing that there is, and that's why it's called the Armageddon Conspiracy. And obviously, all of my work, spans covering what the Armageddon Conspiracy is, but the main fact, the main tenet of the Armageddon Conspiracy is realizing that God is the devil, that the devil wears the crown of God, and that is, that in Abrahamism, billions of people subscribe to the God of Abraham, and this God has been responsible for countless atrocities, Holocaust, genocides, sacrifices, exterminations, just like another group that we all know about. So, which are the Nazis, and in studying and understanding the Illuminati's work, they actually wrote a book called Jehovah, the World's First Nazi. It's funny that I say Nazi because I don't even know if I'm getting banned or not, or my shit's gonna get flagged. It hasn't, and I've said Nazi before, but I just don't want to. I don't even know why I just did that, because I don't want to do work and then it's deleted. So, we're talking about the Nazis and comparing what they did with the God of the books. You know what I'm saying? The religious books, it can be put in actually direct comparison. And the Illuminati are the world's most ancient secret society that do hold the truth, and the dialectical religion of illumination, which changes and it gets added onto through more knowledge, instead of just staying stagnant like revealed mythos religions do, which are Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. Are the three biggest mythos religions. So, all of this is coming up because this is the topic right now that people are, it all does, all paths lead, to God, and that, right now, I'm observing what's going on, definitely from the outside looking in at all this, though, because I was able to get out, free myself through liberation, Gnostic liberation, which the supreme form of Gnosticism is illumination. So that's not even what I believe in, it's what I know, because I've been shown the truth through mathematical idealism. And I've been having dreams and stuff of talking to different people in the higher facets of I had a dream last night. I was talking to a priest, a pastor, and I was asking him this question, I was oh, if God's moral and loving, why would he order Abraham to sacrifice his son? Can you explain that to me? The reason and logic behind that being a morally loving order, which I actually even first started questioning that. I was a blind believer, you know what I'm saying? Because I had my belief in a higher something, like a grand creator, intelligent design, to actually find out that it's you though that is creating all this, like, um, and it's we are doing it as a collective, um, creating this dream, uh, but just had the talking with the priest, and then I'm talking to people about Charlie Kirk and stuff, because I see it coming, the religious people are arguing against the atheists, and the atheists are questioning God, like the God that's billions of people worship, and which is actually Satan. Because if you think about it, like, what kind of sadistic order is it to give someone a command to sacrifice their son? Like, you cannot explain that away. But every believer will say, oh well, he was just testing Abraham, because that's what they've said. Because I've actually asked, like, Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff like that. But if you have to think about what kind of test that is, and if you heard a voice coming into your head telling you to kill your son, and you were willing to do it, like, that would make you a psychopath. That's why the Illuminati wrote a book called Abraham, the world's first psychopath, as well. And obviously the Illuminati are the only ones that have questioned the identity of the God of the books, the old, dusty, holy, ancient books that were written by illiterate bearded prophets in the desert, that we, the people of today will refer back to those books to explain things that are happening today, which you can do and stuff, but you can't totally rely on biblical inerrancy, which is what Christians and the people of the book believe in, that the Bible is the truth, like, the only truth, which it's not. It's a book that has been, there was stuff taken out of it. It was created to control people, and yes, there can be beauty and stuff found in it, but it is, like, literally like a horrific tale, like, seriously. And even to the point of God, after condemning everyone to hell, telling, giving orders to people to sacrifice their sons, exterminating humanity, ordering genocide to a whole people, ordering for foreskins to be chopped off, children, or else they're going to hell, to brand their mark, to keep the lie going. Like, I've been enlightened to all this because I found the enlightened ones who hold this knowledge that keeps people caught in the reincarnational loop. So that's why I'm doing this, is because I'm realizing what the truth is, and then I'm working to get it out to people, because the people are going to be yearning for the truth when everything starts collapsing, like religions, political systems. Because it is all, like, even the politics, religious, and economics is all connected. And even to the point, like, I am definitely sorry to say this, though, and people, like, especially Christians, are not going to like what I'm saying right now. But it took me, like, definitely years of, like, I was a Christian, and then I found the Illuminati, the enlightened ones, who are Gnostic, who, like, my search and led me to the Illuminati for God. My search for God led me to the Illuminati, which led me past, religion. So, what was I gonna say though? That's funny because I just. Like, Christians are not gonna like what I'm saying, because even with Trump bringing Christian nationalism into America, which is what's going on, that is not necessarily a good thing, because it's based on a lie. Like, the whole Holy Bible God thing, that's just all to keep control, and even that's how Trump even got in, was he even what's the word I'm looking for, he targeted a certain demographic of people, which are Christian nationalists, and he got that vote, the Christians and stuff. So and the Christians, that is one thing about the religions, is like the Abrahamic religions. Like, I learned from the Illuminati, if any religion says that without them you are going to hell, or they are the chosen ones, like like the Illuminati is the world's only mythos religion, not based on or world's only logos religion, based on reason and logic, and they are the enlightened ones. But like these other religions that say they're the chosen ones, I mean, that is obviously just a ploy to get people in control, and because that's exactly what the NAZIs did too. So when you are subscribing to those religions, you're doing the same thing that the NAZIs did. So and it's just like, the path to truth does lead you to solitary, because I mean, the only way I can speak about, like, I've spoken at events, I've spoken on podcasts and stuff, which I'm gonna be lining up some stuff, like because this is the Armageddon Conspiracy. It has to be talked about. That's why my throat is so closed, because talking about how God is the devil, God wears the crown of the devil, like the devil wears the crown of God, goes against everything, and it is literally heresy and blasphemy and stuff. But people need to know this, to be liberated, not saved, but liberated, because it's not about salvation, it is about liberation as well. Alright, so I did this. I made some notes to discuss, and it's gonna make me turn it off, because I'm getting way too much. Like, I'm getting way too much information going on. That's why my phone is acting so slow. Restart this. Yeah, but I am obviously gonna continue the lesson for me and stuff, because today I woke up and had a fire of revolution in me, because I am with the Illuminati, and I am with the revolution. They've been responsible for revolutions in the past, and in the French Revolution, like literally, um, Saint Just, Antoine de Saint Just, and like Maximilien Robespierre. They were like, I could have been one of them. I could have been one of them, you know, because I probably, you know, because they started the fucking revolution, and you know, the Illuminati talk about the, you know, the French Revolution, you know, the also the one against the kings, you know, the Russian Revolution against the monarchs, you know, or the czars, and the you know, the American Revolution against the monarchs. It's always been the same thing, and it's the same thing right now. Like, and even like the Illuminati wrote a book called The Last Blinking that's definitely talking about what's going on, which is everybody rising up right now, because the truth is not being talked about. And it's going to lead to a collapse in fighting between all sorts of different because Christians are going to go till the end, though. You know what I'm saying? They're all going to go to the end until they're shown that they weren't right about who God is and what God is. And it's definitely not a spy master daddy, you know, that in the sky, which is what is created around the Abrahamic religions. You know, it's that, you know, that's not what God is. God is a self-actualizing mathematical equation, actually, which is Euler's formula. Which explains how basically mind is the creator of matter, and that would say that we are God. So, and that would take away power from the religious institutions. That would take away power from the political institutions, if the truth were revealed, that we are God, and that there is definitely not a spy master, sky daddy God controlling whether everybody's going to hell, heaven or hell, going on. Everything happens for a reason, principle, sufficient reason, and Occam's razor. The most easiest explanation is the explanation. So it is a tough thing to come to, like, you know what I'm saying, because I mean, I've been studying Illuminism since 2016, and like at first, like it was definitely blasphemous in my mind to think that I was God or that I was becoming God. You know, like everything was telling me I wasn't God, you know, because I couldn't like, you know, do like, I just couldn't snap my finger and, you know, create something, which is, you know, you can't just do that, you know what I'm saying, reason and logically. But people say, well, God can. Well, no, actually, like, you have to think it into being, and then that's the way things happen. And that is definitely godlike, being able to think something and then see it matter in your universe, turn into matter, because the mind is the creator of matter, which is going to be a paradigm shift that I've talked about, you know, which is going to crush all the religions. So, all right, so I just went over these notes, basically, you know, because in the book they do put God on trial, you know, just like the NAZIs did in Nuremberg, and they use all of the this is a brilliant book, you know what I'm saying? But if you're an Abrahamist, or highly religious, you're going to read it and you're going to think it's completely blasphemous. But then you definitely, if you don't, you see how brilliant all the work is, though, because they use all of the stuff in the Bible to put God on trial, like for all the exterminations, all the genocides, all that stuff, and they wrote a book about that. So that is, if you want to go armed against someone, that would be a good book to go armed with. For a person that wants to know, the truth about religion. So, in religion, that's what they also do. They can do biblical inerrancy and circular reasoning. Like, sometimes I will go circular, like I will talk about the same things over and over again, but it's only to explain things and use it more to explain the truth. And that's what dialectical like reasoning is, which will be taught in the future, like through illumination, which doesn't lead back to circular reasoning, which is like, oh, it says so because the Bible says so, and because it's going to keep going around a circle, because it's not coming true. Jesus is not coming back, but until he does, the Christians will hold on to that. And his name was Yeshua ben Yosef, and he was a Jewish rabbi. He was a revolutionary, you know what I'm saying, leader of an army and uprising who the Romans killed, and then because he was a threat, and it didn't actually have to do with him being he was actually deified through the creation of Christianity. And so that's why everybody said Jesus Christ is the light, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. All that stuff is actually, Jesus is the Prince of Hell. Like that is liberating Gnostic knowledge. So basically, it questions, framed as trial, proactively reverses traditional religious paradigms by casting Jehovah not as the ultimate source of good, but as the architect of terror, judgment, and cruelty, comparable to the Anazis and historical tyrants. So, it tells you about the theological inversion. It challenges the moral foundation of Abrahamism by presenting its God as a villain, aligning with ancient Gnostic dualism that identifies the Old Testament God as the demiurge, a false deity who enslaves rather than liberates, which I know that is the truth. The demiurge exists in the religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and also the Eastern religions too, because they are also the full picture too, because it's not all about escaping, which is what Buddhism is all about, is escaping Maya, and all that, but actually it's about self-deification and the integration of the illusion and reality, and and becoming the programmer and the source, the creator of it, of the illusion that you're experiencing as a hologram, because the universe is holographic and you are just seeing things like little blips throughout time that you've already actually created in your mind. And that is the explanation of how mind turns things into matter. So and you can really tell that Illuminism and illumination is really the grand unified theory of everything, because everything is concluded. Politics, religion, economics, philosophy, psychology, science, metaphysics, It's all in there. Like, and that's why the Illuminati even said, they're like, if you notice in our writings, we talk about everything and connect it all. Like, and no one has been able to do that except for the enlightened ones. So by comparing moral philosophy, so bringing up moral philosophy, by comparing Jehovah to the Anasiais, it forces the reader to confront uncomfortable parallels between divine wrath and genocidal authoritarianism. The analogy serves to illuminate how moral relativism is used to justify atrocities when committed by a divine authority. So, like, I would love to talk to any Christians about these things, though, because these are the things that need to be brought up for them to question what it is that they believe in. You know, because it does. I felt the whole. You know, you have the search to believe in God, then you know you come across Christianity because it is actually just passed down, like inherited, which, you know, I did inherit Christianity from my mom, because like I'm not saying that what she knows and believes in is not of God, but like I'm just talking about like how I found out about, like, because I knew I was baptized Catholic, and then, you know, I guess I wasn't like going to church and doing all the stuff, but then I came into being a Christian through, you know, my mom becoming religious, and then, you know, having her experience with Jesus Christ, and all like that whole thing, which then I, you know, started, you know, that's where I went to search next, was in the Bible, and you know, had religious experiences, you know, I even had Jesus, like, you know, I saw Jesus like come over me and like love, and, you know, I even felt like Jesus behind me one time, like on, like putting his hand on me, and you know, I'm saying I had those experiences for what I at least thought was Jesus, because it felt like what Jesus should, you know, what the deification of Jesus should feel like God's love, which I still feel, you know, in my heart. But where was I going with that? Yeah, just how I came into Christianity, and then, you know, being baptized, you know, going to youth groups, going to church, you know, feeling good about everything, though, because it does, you know, make you feel good to go to church, you know, congregate with people who are similarly minded, you know, because if I went to a church right now, I wouldn't be able to pretend, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be able to, because actually, if I went into a church right now, like, I would actually question people, and see actually what would happen, which I'm actually tempted to do. But yeah, so the moral philosophy is, you know, definitely brought up of how moral God is, and the same God of the New Testament is the same God of the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? That is one thing you have to realize, because you can't be like, oh, well, it's just, you know, God, you know, he just changed, you know, because isn't that one thing? God doesn't ever change. Like, you know, he's ineffable, like unchangeable, unknowable, you know, but actually God does change, because everything changes. But I'm not referring to the God of the Old Testament, because there's nothing but fire and brimstone and sacrifice in the old holy, dusty holy books. Religious critique. The book stands as a radical critique of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Through their shared patriarch, Abraham, and more specifically, their veneration of Jehovah. It implies that global suffering is perpetuated by blind allegiance to a morally bankrupt God concept. Which it does, though, because it's critiquing religions, which everybody wants critique of everything, right? Well, let's critique the religions, which the Illuminati do. The Illuminati critique everything in their books, and then they present illumination and illuminism, which is that you are becoming God and everything is becoming God. That's what the truth is, through dialectical evolution of a self-solving mathematical equation, which is what the universe is. But the churches won't tell you that. Authorities won't tell you that. The elites know this knowledge, that this is actually what knowledge the elites are holding back from humanity, what I am talking about right now. Their cosmology, they know how they're actually six-dimensional cosmology. They don't even go by four-dimensional cosmology. They just leave the people to wallow around in an illusion until we fucking figure it out. Which is what the Illuminati are doing. Is they are intellectual elite, but they are not obviously of the same organization of the elite that is holding this world in thrall, and is the hierarchy that enslaves us. So they are really the heroes and the freedom fighters and the liberators that are giving this enlightenment and knowledge, passing it down to humanity right now, to those that are finding it and liberating humanity, because this will be the key to humanity's liberation, because it is the grand unified theory of everything. And I just wrote a book actually called The Grand Unified Theory of Everything, A Key to Humanity's Liberation. So the Illuminist Gnostic revelation. It promotes the Gnostic perspective that true divinity lies not in obedience to a God of wrath, but in awakening to the divine spark within, echoing the Pythagorean Illuminati's vision of illumination, knowledge, and liberation from tyrannical belief systems. So this is important, though, too, because it does teach about self-deification instead of worshiping and creating this unbridgeable gap between you and God, because you can't even fathom the greatness. But the truth is that you are the greatness. You are the divine spark. You are the creator. You are the eternal that has lived lifetimes, that is through eternal recurrence is actually learning, like through lifetimes, and that's also what is going on. And people, if they may not say they remember, but that's the whole point of this trap is to forget. So it just talk about the crimes of Jehovah, the flood, a case study in divine genocide, the extermination of the human race, circumcision, the first ritual mutilation, the ethics of child autonomy versus covenant obedience, whether a child has the right to decide what you're going to do to its body, rather than covenant obedience, which is what Judaism is based on, is foreskin mutilation, and which is what Judaism and Jehovah is. That is what is behind those religions. And that is I do not believe that foreskins should be being chopped off of children. So that needs to stop. And the people behind this, because actually behind the Jews are actually the Brotherhood of Shadows, and they are actually the ones that are really have been the ones that have controlled everything. You know, the Holocaust blueprint, divine prefiguration of genocide. You know, the covenant of obedience, morality versus divine command. You know, it's definitely being mapped out. Like, and you know, morality, the divine command is coming from, you know, like the government is what has been part of controlling us, and religion, you know, and economics. So all of these institutions have to be held responsible, and we have to rise up against them, which is happening on many different levels. Like economically, billionaires are being taken out. Politically, you know, there's uprising happening at you know, universities and stuff, and politically, you know, in religiously, you know, it's happening against, like, you know, you got all the liberals going, everybody's rising up right now. So but we have to know who the enemy is, and unite underneath that, and really it is the Abrahamic religions and the political system, the people that are behind politics, and the monarchies. That these are the top people at these are the enemy. The people and the top people in economics. So if you look at who those people are definitely the enemy. And as they have always been. And the Illuminati have always stood against the elite, tyrannical, plutocratic oligarchs throughout time. So the dialectic of freedom. Revolution against kings, revolution against gods. So yeah, we gotta revolt against the kings and the popes. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's time to get out. It's time to call them on their lies. It's time to call them out. The kings, the gods, the popes, the demagogues. They all know the truth and they know that they're keeping the truth from the public. And I believe that as one of the people that the fucking public should know the truth. No matter, and even if they think it would be detrimental, which is what they've been hiding behind, they're like, oh, if we revealed the truth, you know, that would be detrimental to society. And you know, that may be actually, no, it's not so. We want the truth right now. Stop playing around. Which I'm funny because I'm picking up on 607 Unk, you know, and him, like, in what he's doing, because he knows the truth, and he's always like, stop playing around with me, because you know he wants the same things for this like delusion to be over, and for people to wake up, and for there to be a revolution. And it being an intellectual revolution, because we actually know the truth, not a violent revolution like the ones in the past, which have been necessary and needed, because those have been the cause, or the effect of the rule of the tyrants, of the people, of the world. So we're here to liberate the world. Historical revolutions as precedents for divine dethronement. So yeah, we got to look at the revolutions of the past, study those, and then, like, for divine dethronement, like the dethronement of the monarchs, all the billionaire plutocrats, you know, the politician and stuff. But we have to unite together, and it's not going to be underneath religious, because that's always going to be fighting. It's not going to be underneath politics, because they're always going to be fighting. It's not going to be underneath economics, because the system is set up for 1% to have everything and everybody else to have nothing. So that is not going to work either. You know, So illumination, which is the truth, is the one thing that everybody can unite to bring down the old world order. So the Enlightenment strikes back. Like, it's, enlightenment wasn't gonna look like, everybody's levitating around and stuff like that. It was gonna be humanity waking up to it being enslaved, and then holding responsible the enslavers, which is happening, because I'm not saying that it's not happening, because it is. It's all happening behind the scenes and stuff, but that's what I'm preparing for. Is this revelation, because it's not going to be a surprise. So when the false god is realized to be false, which is definitely going to happen, then the true God will be revealed, and that will be a God beyond good and evil, which the Illuminati have identified as Abraxas. And they wrote a whole book on Abraxas, and I'm not gonna, that is the Gnostic, the symbol with the snakes and the chicken head on, with the warrior with the shield and the sword. That all definitely has symbolic meaning. But I was just gonna focus on Jehovah right now, and Allah, and Christ too. It's Christ too. Like I'm sorry, but it is Christ. Like, the people that the God of Jesus Christ is the devil. I'm sorry, but it's true. You know what I'm saying? Be like, oh, Christ, he was doing miracles and he loved everybody. Like, it's made to keep people in emotion. It's a mythos that's made to keep people emotional, and like turning the other cheek. Like, if you're getting beaten down, you need to fight back, and that's actually one of the ways of mass mind control that they're able to do on us, is turning the other cheek. Like, that's actually not, people be like, if you just need to walk away. Like, no, you need to fight back. And that's actually what, my whole life has been about too, because I'm a professional fighter, and it has been learning how to fight. And I know that was a God ordained thing for me to understand what it was like to fight, and why. Because you fight because you get hit and you get beat down, but you don't give up, and you don't turn the other cheek. Definitely. The new covenant is, there are no gods above us. Like, we are humanity, we are divine. Like, all the gods that place themselves above us, that is not what needs to be happening for our evolution. We can't be held in thrall. Like, we have to realize our divinity and the divine spark within us. So the human race must now choose between the chains of fear and the wings of reason. That's what this is all coming down to, and it's gonna come to your front door step. What's going on, and the breakdown of society. It is Armageddon. Everybody's fighting, like a World War III. That is one thing, but it can't be changed. You know what I'm saying? Through actually an inception. And now I realize that I came back here to stop, like, the world from destroying itself, like in World War III and stuff, through incepting, like, the truth into the consciousness of this world. And I guess the only way to do that was to take on a body and talk about it in the world. So that makes sense. All right, so I could get into, you know, more, because this is all illumination. This is like, I actually don't need a book. I could put this down. I could talk about it just from what I know, because I've been studying illumination for 16 years, and I realized that it's gonna be a lifetime thing. Actually, it's been lifetime things. But you know, it's like I pretty much covered everything for today. Yeah. You know, and the Zealot King. Like, Jesus was a zealot. Like, he was a zealot king. Like, he was a Jewish zealot king. You know what I'm saying? Because he was going out, and he was definitely starting revolutions and stuff. And you know, it's like the Gospels are a cover story. The invention of Christ, you know, Pauline Christianity, and the erasure of Jewish messianism. The Gospel authors as propagandists for Roman-friendly Christ. I mean, it's like, if you really want to get into the truth, read the Illuminati's work and follow the Illuminati, because in the end, the ones that know the truth are going to be the ones that are standing in it. So, all right, I'm going to end that there, because, you know, it's the most important thing in the world that this is addressed, because this is the biggest thing right now. Because you do have people like Charlie Kirk, who are intellectuals, who are an influencer. You know what I'm saying? You could consider them as a priest, pope, prophet, you know, demigod. You can include that in that level, because the Illuminati talk about the priests, the popes, the imams, the prophets, the influencers. You know, all the people that people are listening to explain their nature of reality, like what's going on, how to explain it. But the Bible doesn't actually explain anything about the nature of reality at all. It just gives parables and stories and stuff, and, you know, things that you can relate, like wisdom things, but it doesn't explain the ontological nature of the universe, and the mathematical, through mathematical idealism and ontological mathematics, and, you know, which is the completion of science. And it definitely brings in the spirits to science, which is what solves the dualism, Cartesian dualism, solves the religious, scientific fighting thing about how they're fighting. It just solves everything. So, you know, it's just my goal to get to talk to the greatest minds of the world about all of this. Like, I'm ready. Just so, because it is the answer, like, so people can stop debating, stop wanting that, like, life is a dream, like, is the final revelation of the mystery schools. And if that is, like, is humanity ready for that? Are they not? No, we are, though, because then we can start making something different, which is not our enslavement, and which is through this system of capitalism, predatory capitalism, free market Zionist capitalism, which has to do with politics, because politics is ran by, capitalism and everything. So the people behind capitalism are the people behind politics, because it takes money. Democracy is not a democracy anymore, because both sides, it takes money to get up into positions of power. So if you don't have money, you can't have a voice. Religion is like, they're people, it's like, it was funny to see Charlie Kirk, who says he's an intellectual, but the Illuminati don't identify him as an intellectual, because he is a Christian, religious, like, nationalist, which they are not able to explain the nature of reality or consciousness. And then Bill Maher, they were having a talk and a debate, and Bill Maher is a scientific empiricist materialist, who doesn't believe in an afterlife. And Charlie Kirk is a Christian nationalist, believes in afterlife and believes in God and believes in intelligent design. But, says everything didn't come from nothing, it came from God, which that is not the explanation. It actually came from a dimensionless, singular point outside of time and space, known as a monad. And that actually explains what a black hole is. But you won't see a Christian apologist or a nationalist or whatever, or a scientist say that, because they're not an Illuminatist. And they're just going to keep speculating until they find out, because there is life definitely beyond this one. There are other dimensions, you know what I'm saying, other frequencies. And when you go to sleep, you go into the afterlife. That's just what it is. Like, you die when you go to sleep. You go into the afterlife. You see what it's like to be dead. So that's what it's like to dream. And then you wake up in reality and you have a body, and then you create an experience through your mind, which is actually a black hole. But it's like it is all going to come down to the existence of God. But God is not only does God exist, God is inevitable. And once God is understood to be a mathematical equation, and that that's gonna shatter the image of God. And so that's what I'm doing right now, because it's definitely key to the timeline change, because I do realize that I am someone that has come in here to change the timeline, because I'm actually not, there are others as well, that are here to change the timeline. And that timeline is, definitely one not of World War III, not of one of fear, doubt, confusion, just chaos. That is definitely not the timeline that I'm here to create. And I'm going to have one of understanding, light, and that is what I see for everybody in this world. Second enlightenment, here we come. And this does lead to a Star Trek future. And people have to start thinking about, well, what does that look like? Well, it looks like Star Trek. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's getting along. Everybody's united. You know what I'm saying? It is a one world. You know what I'm saying? They were able to reverse that around, that idea around. That one world is a bad thing when it's actually a good thing. because right now there's nothing but borders around. You know what I'm saying? People fighting for land, taking over land, and stuff like that. When the borders need to be dropped, and we need a system that the world, you know what I'm saying, can run on, which is a meritocracy, which is going to be how the world is ran in the future. Believe it or not. And that's what I came here to say. That's what I came here in this time to get through, is what it's going to look like in the future. And that's a meritocracy. That's social national capitalism. That's illumination. Everybody can become God. The 1% don't have all the money. There isn't your Paris Hiltons and Lionel Messi's and all these people making million. Like, it's regulated, and your merit is what determines your how much you make, and by what you contribute to society. So believe it or not, this is how the Illuminati do their thing. You know what I'm saying? And they are advanced. That's why you don't hear about them or anything like that until now. Because not by land or by sea shall you reach the Hyperboreans, which is what Pindar said, and Pindar was one of the Illuminati. So, as you can see, like, all of this history, all of this knowledge is much more fascinating than the fake lie, which is the Illuminati are the bad guys, pan-dimensional shape-shifting reptilians, neocon Freemason, political, all that garbage is not the truth. That's the conspiracy, and you have to get past that conspiracy to get to the Illuminati. So, if you got to this, welcome to the Illuminati. Alright, until next time.